It's my third cousin once removed Hillary Clinton's birthday. I was unaware that Hillary was begotten rather than created, as a friend of mine said he saw her fall like lightning from heaven. But we'll celebrate the big day by counting our blessings this year. Then PragerU CEO Marissa Streit comes in studio to discuss her conservative group's new lawsuit against Google. I love it. Red Pill Black, Candace Owens, Amanda Prestigiacomo, and Jacob Airy join the panel of deplorables to analyze Ashley Judd's new tone on sexual assault, the JFK papers, and why scientists say the universe shouldn't exist. Finally, your most pressing questions are answered in the mailbag. I'm Michael Knowles. This is The Michael Knowles Show. To get to today, I obviously want to wish my cousin Hillary Clinton a proper happy birthday. But first, we really need to count our blessings because we have sponsors. We have people who keep the lights on. This isn't real. I know, it doesn't feel like, it feels like the universe shouldn't exist, just like this. But nevertheless, they're very nice. They help us keep the lights on, and it's a fabulous product. I am talking, of course, about Ring. Now, you might have seen Ring before. I'm not a cool guy, but some of my friends are cool guys, and all of my cool guy friends have this doorbell that has a video camera in it. So you ring the bell, and then it's zapped right to your phone. So even if you're not in the house, you can be in the house and you see who's at the door and talk to them and whatever, or you can be at your office, or you can be at the store, or you can be sitting on the beach, and it's a new technology for the 21st century. And what their mission is to make neighborhoods safer. So it's really like a neighborhood watch for the 21st century, a home security system for the 21st century. They have this classic technology, the video doorbell. Over 1 million people are using that right now to help protect their homes. But Ring also knows that home security begins at the front door, but it doesn't end at the front door. So they have that same level of security in their Ring floodlight cam. So you go up to someone's house. You probably know this, especially the Michael Knowles Show audience, when you're trying to break into people's houses, that cam goes, or rather that light goes on and catches you because it's motion. It detects motion. That's what this does, except there's a camera in it. It's immediately uploaded to the cloud. You can have a peace of mind and know that your house and your family and your possessions are safe because you can see who's trying to break in. You can see and speak to visitors. You can set off an alarm right from your phone. When things go bump in the night, you'll immediately know what that is, whether you're home or away. The floodlight cam lets you keep an eye on your home from anywhere. So it is the ultimate in home security protection. It's highly visible floodlights, HD camera. It's all very high technology. And with Ring, you're always at home. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to tell your neighbor, hey, check on my house for me. Hey, make sure nothing goes wrong. You can see it just right on your phone. Right now, for our listeners and our viewers, Ring is offering up to $150 off their Ring security kit if you go to ring.com/Knowles. That's KNOWLES, ring.com/Knowles. Go there right now. They did a study in LA. They gave a bunch of Ring technology to a sort of seedy neighborhood. Within 6 months, there was a 55% reduction in home burglaries. At least go and check it out right now. I think you're going to be convinced. Ring.com/Knowles. Save some money and keep your home and your neighborhood safe. Okay, now let's get into my cousin Hillary Clinton's birthday. This is obviously a special day. I brought in just a little something to celebrate it. Here we go. We didn't have a cake in the office, so I'm using a Newton bar. Let's just get that lit. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Never, ever, 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 ever going to be president. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Hillary. Let's just do a little recap of this year for Hillary Clinton. I hope my hair is still okay after my Marilyn Monroe wig.
Great.
It looks good. Okay, good. Thank you. I knew it. It's just been that kind of year. Hillary Clinton is not president. That's a pretty good thing. The book she wrote blaming Russian interference for not being president sold about as many physical copies as my completely blank book making fun of her political party, released during her campaign or slightly after. Now we have learned that Russian narrative is actually the reverse. It was the Democrats who were colluding with foreigners, including with links to Russia, to interfere in our electoral process, and conservatives have never had a stronger voice in the media or culture, proving my point is my guest in studio, Marissa Streit, the CEO of Prager University. Marissa, thanks for coming.
It is so great to be here.
This story that PragerU is suing YouTube, suing Google, it might be my favorite story in the news, and there's a lot of competition here. Why are you suing Google?
So we're suing them because what they're doing is obviously wrong.
And just for people, I think everyone in the conservative movement is aware of this, YouTube is banning your videos.
Right. So we have about 250 videos, 1/5 of our portfolio, that's 50 videos, are being either restricted or demonetized by YouTube and Google. They just, which ones, nobody knows why.
Well, some of them, it's not like these are violent videos. These are 5-minute explainer videos on perfectly interesting topics. And when they restrict it, you can't see them in universities and in high schools, right?
Right. So that's how we found out that the videos were restricted, because some of our college students started emailing us saying, hey, did you take down that video that I saw last night? Where are they? And we're like, no, we didn't take it down. So we started looking into it, and we found out that they were on restricted mode. So,
is there any explanation? Have they offered you any explanation as to why they allow these topics to be talked about on the left? They're all over YouTube. They allow crazy content all on YouTube, but sober videos explaining facts about academic subjects, that's not allowed.
I mean, think about the crazy content that's on YouTube. That's exactly how
I produce a lot of it. I know. It's shocking.
I know. It's crazy that ours is. And it's Alan Dershowitz has done a video for us on Israel's legal founding. He called me a few weeks ago as we started discussing this case, because he's involved in us suing, and he said to me, Marissa, I mean, what's going on? Does YouTube think that I'm like super attractive, pornographic? I was like, Alan, don't you worry. Maybe Dennis Prager.
Yeah. Alan Dershowitz is many things. He's not pornographic or sensual.
Yeah, no, I mean, they clearly hover over our channel, because oftentimes videos are restricted within the hour. And they just, press the button, and they decide that that video is ideologically inappropriate and therefore should be restricted.
Are they going to restrict my video?
It's pretty shocking that they haven't restricted it yet. You might not be as attractive as Alan Dershowitz.
I'm really upset.
That might be the issue.
Alan Dershowitz is much more sensuous than I am.
I disagree, beautiful.
I did this video for Prager. You just came out today, and I love that this is all in the news now, that you guys are taking on Google. Is there some worry? Because I've heard some conservatives say, well, Google's a private company. They can do what they want. It's not a free speech issue. Why are they wrong?
Well, first of all, Google defines itself as a public forum, right? Its mission is to aggregate and make the world's information useful. So it's not only that we're saying that they're the biggest vehicle of communications of today and possibly of all times, right? They are saying it as well, and they're claiming that that's what they are. So yes, they're a private company, but so are shopping malls, right? So what shopping malls are going to say? Well, no conservatives can walk in here. No shops owned by conservatives. Obviously, that's discrimination. So private companies are also, they also have to abide by discrimination laws.
And this is not just some little lawsuit that's going to make the news and be thrown out. You've got some pretty heavy hitters who are behind this thing.
Yes. So Governor Pete Wilson, former governor of California, has come to us. It was actually his idea to just put the foot on the gas and actually sue, because honestly, little PragerU, I mean, we're not that little anymore, and we're getting much bigger.
It's one of the biggest forces on the right.
We're talking about Google here. It's Goliath, right? So Governor Wilson was the one who said, listen, you have to take it on. I mean, it's for God and country. Somebody has to do it. Just make it happen. And he's been basically the force behind the legal team.
What are you hoping to get out of it? Do you think, is this just a stunt, or is this winnable?
I hope it's winnable, because if it's not winnable, conservatives are going to lose the internet as they have lost the universities. So this is a pretty big deal. I mean, we see what's happening on universities today. Can you imagine that Google owns the internet? I mean, or that the left owns the internet the way the left owns the university? That's a pretty big deal. So we intend on doing whatever we can to win this.
Because I've been thrilled for so long, conservatives were kept out of the culture, kept out of cultural institutions, publishing in New York, Hollywood, the entertainment industry, and then there's the internet. And then there's this Wild West. And conservatives are so much funnier on the internet. It's there is no comparison. When I think of the left on the internet, I think of that meme of Sandra Fluke, and she's like, frowning. It's like, that's not funny. Wah, wah, wah. But conservatives have a great time. You get, Steve Crowder. You get all of these great voices out there. And same thing with academic stuff. So the universities are completely hostile to conservatives. They fire professors who are not completely left-wing Democrats. They're still Democrats, but they're not far enough left. They're punishing students. They're censoring speech. They're kicking Shapiro off because he's the scariest Jewish neo-Nazi in the country, according to them. At least we have Prager University. You can go, you can get these 5-minute educational videos. You can actually learn something. Is that why they're going after us there? Is it because they see this is our chance to have a cultural impact?
Well, we're obviously very effective. We're obviously very effective. 16% of our viewership said that they changed the way they voted in the last election. That's a pretty big deal.
Wow.
We have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube alone. Obviously, Google is paying attention to us, so we're obviously very effective. And they're trying to prevent us from reaching that very young audience that we're trying to reach. So that's the battle here, right? I mean, they wouldn't be picking on us if we weren't successful and effective.
Of course.
Which, by the way, there are tons of copycats out there on YouTube that download our videos and re-upload them, and I'll let you guess, they are not restricted. So they're making money off the PragerU videos that we make because, obviously YouTube is not paying attention to them.
Should I not be doing that?
Marshall needs a side hustle because we don't pay him anything here. That is astounding because we're talking about the exact same content.
The content is downloaded by other channels and uploaded and is monetized and not restricted, but on our channel. So clearly it's not an algorithm, because some people out there might be thinking, well, maybe it's an algorithm or whatever. No, it's not only clearly not an algorithm because of the copycats, but they have, after we have launched our petition and we had, close to 300,000 signatures on it, YouTube has started responding to us, and they said, well, we'll review your content. And in fact, we have reviewed your content. And once reviewing your content, we decided that they should be restricted.
Wow.
So it's not an algorithm.
This is
not
intentional.
Community. Yes, it's not community, flagging. They have admitted that in writing. And that's when we decided to sue, because we're like, wait a second, this is obviously discrimination.
It's a violation of contract.
Absolutely.
So you've got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. They know who you are. You're one of the biggest channels on YouTube. 250 videos. Do you know how many views you have? Because I know most of these videos get 1 million views at least.
Right. So it depends on the video. We've had a video that has gone so viral that it had 53 million views. That was the video on the Electoral College. And we have some videos that reach about 2 million views. The average viewership in total between our website, YouTube, and Facebook, of course, is about 2 to 3 million viewers a day.
2 to 3 million viewers a day, and the left just can't abide that. That is just too many viewers, too many people changing their votes away from my cousin Hillary Clinton.
Way too conservative for them.
All right, well, she's dangerous. We got to get her out of here, Marshall. Marissa, thank you for being here. I love it. I'll be eating popcorn when I read every single news article about this lawsuit.
Right.
Thanks, Marissa.
Thanks.
All right, we have to move on. We have so much in the news today. So, before we move on, I will say, I did this PragerU video today, so let's just play a quick little cut of that. You can see the whole thing on YouTube. What is the alt-right? Everybody has an opinion about it, but nobody seems to know exactly what it is. So I took it upon myself to find out. I took a deep dive into alt-right culture. I read their books, listened to their podcasts, watched their videos, followed their blogs, and spoke personally to their leaders. Here's what I learned. First, they're really small, like your high school reunion small. That big national alt-right gathering in Charlottesville in August 2017, yeah, that attracted all of about 600 people. And that's on the high end of estimates. And that infamous torch rally on the evening of August 11th, there were maybe 100 tiki torch carriers. But however small it is, the alt-right does have a belief system, a worldview. It's right there in their name. The alt in alt-right means alternative. The alt-right is an alternative to American conservatism. So it's no surprise then that the alt-right has far more in common with the left, another alternative to conservatism, than it does with the traditional American right. This goes on for a while. If you want to learn what the alt-right actually is, and we delve into what it is, and also if you want to see me compare the entire left to a handful of neo-Nazis for 4 minutes, I suggest you go check it out on YouTube. Really amazing stuff, though. We'll see when that gets demonetized and restricted by YouTube, of course.
That's when I get fired, right?
That is exactly when you get fired. That's right. Now let's bring on our panel, because I want all the panel on to talk about the news today. We have a great panel from the YouTubes. Speaking of them, we have Red Pill Black Candace Owens. We have Amanda Prestigiacomo from the Daily Wire, and we have Jacob Airy, who we found muttering to himself on the sidewalk. Thank you all for being here. In the news is Ashley Judd. She always finds her way back into the news. Here is Ashley Judd screaming about Donald Trump and sexual assault.
I am a nasty woman. I'm not as nasty as a man who looks like he bathes in Cheeto dust. And I didn't know devils could be resurrected, but I feel Hitler in these streets. A mustache traded for a toupee. Nazis renamed the cabinet. Electroconversion therapy, the new gas chambers shaming the gay out of America, turning rainbows into suicide notes. I am not as nasty as racism, fraud, conflict of interest, homophobia, sexual assault.
Wow, she's so fired up against that sexual assault. You know, now that Harvey Weinstein has been accused by a gazillion women of doing things much, much worse than what Donald Trump is accused of, she must have really just laid right into him, right?
What would you say to Harvey Weinstein today?
What I would say to Harvey is, I love you and I understand that you are sick and suffering. And there is help for a guy like you, too.
I love you. What would you say to a guy like Harvey Weinstein? I love you. Oh my goodness. Red Pill Black, why did Ashley have that incredible change of heart?
You know, what better way to celebrate Hillary Clinton's birthday than with another woman who completely slaughtered feminism? I mean, this is why nobody likes feminism. You're under a pussy hat saying that you hate Donald Trump, and then you simultaneously are telling people that you love Harvey Weinstein. I mean, they've absolutely just lost their minds. It's amazing to watch. By the way, she sounds like she's at a Baptist church when she's given that speech earlier.
Oh, I know. But then she sounds really somber when she's talking about the guy that she knows, the guy in show business. There's this huge change. Amanda, it's often said that feminists let Democrats off the hook for this kind of stuff because Democrats are pro-abortion. That's the only issue women should care about. They're pro-abortion. We'll sweep Bill Clinton's sexual harassment, sexual assault under the rug. Why is abortion the big issue? Is that it? Like, why do the Democrats have this sacramental view of abortion?
Yeah, I think it's because feminism has kind of morphed into sameness. So it's just like there can be no differences between men and women. So those biological differences where women are, they have children, like that happens. They want to just negate any differences possible, and abortion kind of helps that, right? Like, you don't have to have children. You can just stay in the workforce. Don't be a stay-at-home mom. There's all these signals to kind of reject any femininity, reject anything, reject biology even. So that's why abortion is so important to them, and they're willing to overlook, guys like Weinstein, guys like Bill Clinton, because they'll promote abortion. I mean, Weinstein was the biggest feminist in Hollywood. And Ashley Judd was personally affected by him, apparently. She said that, in a hotel room 20 years ago, he came on to her, and then she basically said that she would sleep with him after she won an Oscar to get out of it. And that's all well and good. She didn't warn any other girls, nothing else happened. But someone says hi to her in the airport and she goes on a Facebook Live rant and loses her darn mind. So her feminism is about as real as Pam Anderson's breasts. It's a joke.
You also make the excellent point that Harvey Weinstein's, he's the biggest feminist in Hollywood, right? That is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like, an overweight, disgusting sexual assailant. Jacob, When you play those clips back to back, is that evidence? Does that suggest that Ashley Judd was just performing with her rant about Donald Trump and the sexual assault? Or do they really not understand this cognitive dissonance? Do they really not realize that Harvey Weinstein is a much more vicious sexual assailant than anything Donald Trump's been accused of?
No, I honestly think it's the first one. I think that she was doing a performance because she doesn't like President Trump. They did the same thing to Bush, calling him a war criminal and says that he murders people and that he wants to wipe out Muslims, and they're just doing the same exact thing to Trump. And then it's like, when it's one of their own, all of a sudden it clicks in, oh, we should be compassionate, we should be merciful. No, this guy is an alleged scumbag, and he should be treated as such.
I agree. I absolutely agree. We have to move on from this. We've talked so much about Weinstein, but I couldn't miss one more shot at Ashley Judd. In the realm of science, according to a recent scientific study, which is apparently 350 times more precise than previous studies of matter, antimatter, and the origin of the universe. According to this study, the universe comprises equal parts matter and antimatter. The trouble there is that those two should annihilate each other in general, and in particular to fuel the Starship Enterprise. So the universe shouldn't exist. Amanda, why does the universe exist?
Yeah,
just a quick question for a Thursday afternoon.
Simple softball.
You got
question.
this, Amanda.
Well, this is gonna, a lot of people on the left right now are, they're gonna be really confused by this, right? Because they need some explanation for this. It can't be some other higher being. It cannot be religion. It cannot be any sort of thing that they can't touch or know about. So it's causing a lot of problems on the left. I think people on the right are kind of like, that makes sense, like that would make sense. A lot of things we don't know the answers to, and that kind of fuels kind of how we have this reverence to some higher power. So I can't give you a straight answer to that, but I know that people on the right are not very confused by this, and people on the left are going to, pour some money into more scientific research because they need the answer.
I guess that is the point. People on the right are not confused. When you bring some crazy coincidence that happened, when you bring that statement to a Christian, you say, you won't believe it. This happened, and then this happened, and this fell out of the sky, and this happened. Most Christians will just say, yep, yeah, that's how it works. That's right, that's how the world works. But the left is scratching their head. One of the best arguments, or most compelling these days for God, is that argument from fine-tuning. If you change any little tiny measurement in the physical laws of the universe, the whole thing falls apart. And they just say, wow, what a crazy coincidence. Or they'll say, well, this is evidence of a multiverse. Any way to explain away God. Now, Candace, lefties claim that conservatives are science deniers. They worship at the altar of science. But scientifically speaking, we don't know anything, right? I mean, that's what this study sort of shows us. We know about very minute things. We know about very particular things in the realm of medicine or engineering. But when it comes to gigantic questions, we know nothing. Scientists are statistically wrong all the time, right?
Right.
Is rejecting the false religion of scientism, is that an important part of getting red-pilled? Is that an important part of seeing the world more accurately?
I think it's an important part of getting up and out of bed in the morning. I can't wake up to another headline. What is the obsession with how the world started, how the world's going to end? We're either dying or we don't know why we're here. I can't.
We're coming or going.
Honestly. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on anymore with the left. They're always freaking out about something. Personally, I don't care. I know how this ends. I know how the story ends for me. I'm going to die soon. So.
But are you going to heaven? I bet you'll go to heaven.
But I'm going to heaven. Absolutely.
That's good. All right. That's not bad. You become worm food for like a minute period of time, and then you get eternal glory. That's not so bad.
That's all I'm saying.
The world is a comedy, if you ask me. Jacob, some religious conservatives, I'll admit it, I'll knock our fellow religious conservative friends, they reject science per se. Even though they'll even reject discoveries like the Big Bang, which is an argument for Christian creation. It was called the Big Bang by atheists because they thought it was so ridiculous. It was discovered by a Catholic priest. Should conservatives resist the tendency toward being anti-science while embracing being anti-scientistic?
Yes, I agree with you there. The problem is, where do faith and reason begin, right? And so I think that a lot of conservatives / Christians, they go, Well, science has let us down, right? Like you just said, they rejected the Big Bang Theory. They called it that to mock it because they believed in a static universe. Well, then Albert Einstein admitted, I see that there's a beginning of the universe, and I believe he was agnostic. But I agree with you there. I think that we should not reject science right out, but just like a agnostic approaches faith with some skepticism, I think we should do the same with science, because after all, some scientists put their hope in that there's black holes in the universe. Newsflash, black holes are purely theoretical. There's not been a discovery of a single black hole, so I don't see how that could be an explanation for how the Big Bang occurred.
Jacob, that isn't true, obviously, because we found you in a black hole. We were wandering around. That's where he pulled you from.
I'm in one now.
That's right. This whole studio is a black hole. And that distinction, the skepticism, it's insane that you would even have to say that, that we should approach scientific experiments skeptically. Skepticism is supposed to inhere in science. That's the point. And yet now you hear people say, well, there's a consensus, as if science is a democratic enterprise, as if 50% plus one of people vote for something, then it's scientifically true. And they'll say, well, the science is settled. There's a little news, science doesn't get settled. There is no settling of science. Yeah, that's an important distinction. I need to talk about the JFK files. We're finally going to uncover the truth. My expert panel is going to explain what really happened in Dallas about 54 years ago. But you can't see it unless you go to dailywire.com. So we thank everybody who's already a subscriber. You help us keep the lights on. You help us keep coffee and covfefe in our Leftist Tears tumblers. But if you haven't subscribed already, go over to dailywire.com. It's $10 a month or $100 for an annual membership. You get me, you get the Andrew Klavan Show, you get the Ben Shapiro Show, yada, 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 yada. You get this, folks. You get the Leftist Tears Tumbler. This, by the way, is the pinnacle of scientific achievement. This is why I don't doubt science, is because this was crafted in a laboratory. It was prayerfully crafted to become the hardest, most trollish material on the face of the earth. Obviously, for Hillary Clinton's birthday, that is the vintage that we'll be drinking today. It's really, really special. It's a 70-year-old vintage, and it will never be president. So, and make sure also that you subscribe to us on YouTube and like us on Facebook so you keep getting updates, and you get me to harass you to go over and subscribe on the Daily Wire. Go over there right now, and we'll be right back.